A millionaire asked his daughter to select a new mother from among 5 rich women. He chose the black cleaning lady after learning the truth about who cared for the girl. Victoria Ashworth muttered to the other candidates, "This woman shouldn't even be in the same room as us," while Kesha Williams quietly cleaned up the crystal fragments on the marble floor of the Blackwood home. The glass was accidentally knocked over during lunch by 5 socialites competing to marry billionaire widower David Blackwood. Kesha, 28, has been working at the large Atlanta estate for only 3 months. Emma, a 7-year-old, has already experienced a significant transformation. She lost her mother in a car accident the previous year. What are the candidates? They were unaware that their every vicious remark, contemptuous look, and humiliation was being monitored by someone with deeper secrets than they could have imagined. "Daddy, why are those women being mean to Kesha?" Emma inquired that morning, as David watched through the security cameras. He couldn't help but think of his daughter's innocent question. Kesha felt humiliated by the 5 candidates who had arrived 2 weeks prior to compete in his marriage competition. The idea had come from his therapist. Allow Emma to live with several ladies for a month and choose her new mommy. David carefully chose 5 women from high society, including lawyers, doctors, businesswomen, socialites, and architects. On paper, everything appears to be white, rich, and flawless. However, a worrying trend emerged from the start. The 5 women, led by ruthless Victoria Ashworth, began a silent war against Kesha due to their oil fortune, not because she posed a threat. After all, she was only the cleaning lady. Emma preferred spending time with her above any other candidates. During a dinner party, Priscilla Montgomery, a lawyer, stated that the girls should learn about social hierarchy from an early age. It's crucial that she recognizes the suitable people for her socioeconomic class. David planted microphones throughout the house after witnessing unexpected changes in Emma's conduct, which they were unaware of. After regaining her smile, the girls' nightmares and anxiety episodes resumed. Kesha, who had a degree in education but was working as a cleaner to help her sick mother, never expected her generosity towards Emma to result in such harshness. Every morning while preparing breakfast, she overheard negative remarks about people who do not know their place and bad effects on youngsters from excellent families. However, none of 5 candidates noticed. Kesha's eyes reflect a quiet fortitude built over years of facing prejudices far worse than this. She did not submit to insults, but rather lowered her head in response. The individual's method was waiting for the ideal moment to exact revenge. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this story about how prejudice can turn against the prejudiced. The women who humiliated Ka had no idea their downfall would be so spectacular. Victoria met with the remaining 4 contenders in the mansion's private library the following morning. They felt unnoticed by those they thought were watching. The plot was harsh and thoroughly prepared. Victoria adjusted her diamond earrings as she watched Kesha play hopscotch with Emma in the garden. She emphasized the importance of strategic thinking in this situation. That woman is influencing the child in a way that is inappropriate for our social class. Priscilla Montgomery, a corporate lawyer, opened her Italian leather address book. "I have reviewed the legal procedures. David can dismiss any employee due to cultural incompatibility without any labor difficulties." Christina Hawthorne, a dermatologist who solely served Atlanta's affluent, said that cultural incompatibility was a fancy euphemism. The issue is more evident than that. Dear Rebecca Sterling, the architect who constructed houses for 3 governors, shook her head in scorn. Emma should learn suitable associations early on. The proximity to age sets unreasonable expectations for social interactions. Amanda Chase eyes approached a chain of premium hotels in a more direct manner. It's time to get to the point. A black cleaning lady is taking up emotional space that belongs to us. Emma should be clinging to one of us and not herself. They had no idea that Kesha had grown up hearing similar conversations. She was the daughter of a housekeeper with 30 years of experience working for privileged people. She knew every code and euphemism. Privileged individuals employed various strategies to excuse their actions. They were brutal. At 14, Kesha witnessed her mother's firing after 20 years of employment due to her employer's son's close relationship with her. The subtle allegation of not knowing her position rang around the Charleston house. 14 years later, the same toxic whispers have resurfaced in Atlanta. The women couldn't see beyond Kesha's apparent humility. Her education at Clark Atlanta University had been more than just a degree. It was a subtle declaration of war against the system that had attempted to destroy her family. She taught in public schools for 3 years before transitioning to domestic labor to support her mother's cancer treatment costs. Kesha learned to read people with surgical precision. She recognized and capitalized on being underestimated. Victoria interrupted Emma as she went to find Kesha in the kitchen. "Would you like to play something more sophisticated? I brought a chess set from France just for you." Emma said, "I don't know how to play chess," and continued on her way. Priscilla emphasized the importance of learning as she gently blocked the hallway. "Playing intellectual games helps improve privileged minds." Emma said, "Kesha taught me how to play checkers yesterday," unconscious of the tension she was creating. Her response was, "Games help you think better, no matter what they are." Christina exchanged meaningful glances with the others. "There are different types of games, honey. Some are more appropriate for specific individuals." Kesha came at the kitchen door, holding a dish of warm cookies. Despite hearing every word, she maintained a placid, almost parental expression. "I apologize for interrupting," she said with impeccable courtesy. "Emma, your chocolate chip cookies are ready." The girl's eyes brightened up immediately. "Kesha, did you make the butterfly-shaped cookies as promised?" "I did, dear, and saved some for after dinner." Victoria watched the conversation with increasing displeasure. Their natural fondness made her goal even more imperative. Kesha Victoria tried saying the maid's name for the first time, but said it as if it were an awful foreign word. "Do you believe you're taking on too much responsibility for Emma? We are here to support your developmental requirements." Kesha smiled nicely, but her black eyes flared. "Miss Victoria, I was merely following Mr. David's orders to keep Emma fed and pleased." Amanda naturally joined the conversation, remarking that while feeding a child is important, it is different from forming emotional bonds, and that professional distance should be maintained. "I understand completely," Kesha replied, her voice dripping with a dangerous sweetness. "I've always believed that caring for a child means giving them exactly what they need when they need it." Her response was polite, too polite, and yet sharp enough to unsettle the 5 women. There was a quiet intelligence behind Kesha's calmness that they hadn't expected. That night, David monitored the mansion security cameras as the candidates plotted their next move. They planned to record every supposed misstep Kesha made, building a dossier of inappropriate behavior to present to him. But the videos told a different story, one of professionalism, care, and genuine attentiveness to Emma's needs. In contrast, the footage revealed 5 adult women visibly uncomfortable with the natural bond between a child and her caregiver. Worse, David began noticing a pattern, subtle acts of sabotage. Carefully chosen comments meant to undermine Emma's trust in Kesha, and engineered situations to make her look incompetent. That evening at dinner, Emma asked bluntly, "Daddy, why don't the ladies like Kesha?" The question froze the table mid-bite. "What kind of question is that, sweetie?" Victoria forced a motherly smile. "We like all the staff." "That's not true," Emma said with the brutal honesty only children possess. "I heard you say she didn't know her place." David felt his stomach drop. "Where did you hear that, Emma?" "In the library this morning. They were talking about making Kesha go away." The silence was suffocating. The women, normally quick-witted, were left speechless as a 7-year-old had just exposed their plot. "You must have misunderstood." Priscilla tried to recover. Sometimes adult conversations sound different to children. But David saw the truth in their expressions. Emma had understood perfectly. He was also beginning to realize Kesha wasn't the only one underestimated in this house. Every attempt to humiliate Kesha only seemed to make her stronger. Her quiet resilience was forged from years of injustice. Long before she entered this mansion, and it was becoming clear that the best revenge she could exact was to let her enemies destroy themselves with their own arrogance. The next morning, Kesha rose 2 hours early and called her sister Diane in Washington, D.C. "Diane, I need your help," she whispered from her small room in the annex. "Remember the contact you made at the Department of Education?" Diane Williams Johnson, a Howard University graduate and CNN producer, instantly recognized the tension in Kesha's voice. "What's going on? You never call me this early. I'm under attack by 5 wealthy women who want me gone, and I need ammunition." For 20 minutes, Kesha described every slight, every veiled racist remark, every act of sabotage. Diane listened quietly, her journalist instincts recognizing a clear pattern of systemic discrimination. "Kesha, are you sure you want this fight? These women have power and influence." "Diane, our mother endured 30 years of humiliation from people like them. I refuse to repeat her story, especially when I have Emma to protect." The mention of Emma made Diane understand the stakes. She knew Kesha's maternal connection to the girl was real and unshakable. "All right," Diane said. "Give me their names." 48 hours. Meanwhile, David had launched his own investigation through Marcus Thompson, a private investigator specializing in the wealthy elite. What he uncovered was disturbing. Victoria Ashworth had been quietly expelled from 2 charities for financial misconduct. Priscilla Montgomery had multiple harassment and racial discrimination lawsuits. Christina Hawthorne had lost her medical license in 2 states. Rebecca Sterling had been investigated for tax evasion. Amanda Chase was being sued for running a racially hostile work environment. "These women aren't just prejudiced," Marcus told David in a secure call. "They're predators who use their status to destroy people." Back in the mansion, Victoria was spearheading a plan to portray Kesha as incompetent, rallying the others to document every minor mistake. Priscilla even drafted a fabricated behavior report full of false allegations, with Christina adding fake psychological concerns to give it credibility. They were certain Kesha wouldn't survive it. But Kesha had seen tactics like this before during her years in public schools. Administrators had used similar strategies to force out black educators who didn't fit. That afternoon, she discovered the fabricated report sitting on David's printer. Instead of panicking, she felt a cold, steady calm, the same one she felt 14 when her mother was unjustly fired for caring too deeply for children. That night, she called Professor Angela Morrison, a renowned expert in child development. "Professor, I need you to evaluate a child in a delicate situation," Kesha explained. "I need the results to stand in any legal setting." The next day, David watched via camera as the women executed their cruelest stunt yet. They had Emma's beloved teddy bear, a gift from her late mother, in Kesha's closet. They discovered it and accused Kesha in front of the crying child. Instead of defending herself frantically, Kesha simply embraced Emma and said gently, "You know in your heart I'd never take anything from you, and people who love you would never try to confuse that heart." David realized he wasn't just seeing racial prejudice. He was watching a psychological attack on both Kesha and his daughter. That same night, Diane called back with explosive information about the women, all of it public and verifiable. David decided it was time to act. By Friday, he had arranged a meeting with the women, inviting Dr. Morrison, Diane, and Marcus. The women arrived expecting to hear who had been chosen, but instead, David began presenting their scandals, each one backed by irrefutable evidence. Lawsuits, misconduct, embezzlement, the list was damning. Then came the video recordings of their racist remarks and the teddy bear setup. Finally, David turned to Kesha. "You have a degree in education, specializations in child development, and impeccable references. They assumed you were just a cleaning lady because of your skin color." Victoria tried to sway him with talk of social standing, but David cut her off. "Kesha, will you marry me?" "Yes," she said without hesitation. Emma squealed with joy. The women were stunned. Diane captured everything on film, promising it would air nationally. Before leaving, David informed them he was suing them for conspiracy and slander. Their reputations began collapsing before they even left the driveway. In the years that followed, Kesha thrived, earning her master's degree, running a foundation for underprivileged children, and raising her growing family with David. Emma blossomed into a multilingual, musically talented young girl, proudly telling classmates, "My mom is the bravest woman in the world." Kesha's true revenge was not destroying her enemies. It was living so well that her happiness became proof of how wrong they had been.